Hello, business owners. I am gonna hang out for a second while everybody joins us for the first live training of 2021, which I'm super pumped about. Whoop, whoop. I'm gonna pull this up over here on my laptop too so I can follow along with the comments. Hopefully we have some people joining us today. If not, I'm just gonna chat away and you guys can catch the replay. So whether you are watching this live with me or you're watching the replay, I'd love to see a comment in the comments. Let me know that you're here because I'm very excited about this topic. Hey Yvonne, so good to see you. I'm super excited about this topic. It's one that obviously social media is a big part of all the things that we do, and it's one that I get asked about engagement all the time. So I'm very excited to dive into this. So while people are kind of joining us, hey Tara, so good to see you. Oh, I'm so excited that you're here. While we kind of like wait for people to join in, which if you've watched my live videos before, you kind of know this is my least favorite part of going live because I just kind of feel like I'm sitting in my office talking to myself. But, you know, bear with me while people join us here. Today, Stephen and I were chatting and I was like, I hate my office chair and I really want like something different in my office, and I'm thinking maybe a love seat or like a sofa or a couch or something. That way I can like kick back and relax and read things when I want to, or like sketch, you know, but then I can sit up to my desk with it if I really wanted to. So he was laughing at me and he was like, okay, let's just move the couch from the living room into your office so that we can see if you like it or not. And then if you like it, we can buy something for your office. And I have to say I like the idea of it because I've definitely like sat back and thought a little bit, and it's comfy and it's cozy, but it's way too short. So I would love to know if you're on here watching with me, like what the heck do you use for a nice office chair? Something that's still comfy, but at the end of the day, like still gets the job done and sits up to a desk too, because I feel like I haven't really found what I'm in love with. So today I'm on my couch that is supposed to be in the living room, a little two-seater little love seat. And it was kind of nice though, because at one point I had a dog over here and like a dog at my feet, and they were kind of hanging out and cozy with me. And I was like, oh, this is like a great day. It's a great working day. So I'm laughing at myself that the living room furniture got moved into my office, and we're just winging it today. Yeah. Super excited. So if you're on with me, I know several of you are kind of jumping on and watching the numbers count up. Go ahead and say hi in the comments so that I can know that you're here. Yeah, I'm really excited about everything that 2021 has in store for us. I do not expect this to be a different world overnight. If you've read my emails, you know that. And I am just excited for kind of a change of pace, right? The holiday season to be over, getting back into the swing of things, like knowing, kind of being able to plan a little bit with the things that we can control, right? And one of the things though that I figured out is kind of really interesting as I keep talking to people for 2021 is that everyone has really struggled with goal setting in this season. I'm not everyone. I know a lot of people that are like go-getters and they're going after it. But one thing that I found for myself when I sat back and thought about it, because I am such a goal setter, like you can't keep me from setting goals. It's kind of ridiculous. And one thing that I kind of thought was, why is it that I'm not interested in doing this January? And it's just not something that I'm interested in at all, actually. And I thought about it a little bit, and I thought it's because I didn't get to bring so many of my goals to fruition last year. And what I kind of decided is that 2021 for me is going to be a continuation of the goals that I already set. And I'm really excited about that because I think that for those of us who like to set these big, lofty, long-term goals, it kind of opened my eyes that just because everyone else is doing this in January doesn't mean that maybe my next goal setting season is in February or March or summer or any other time, right? Because I'm just not in a season right now where I'm ready to think about new goals. I'm still hitting hard, you know, still hitting the pavement hard on the goals that I already had. So I'm super excited that I came to at least that realization, and I'm not like down on myself anymore for being like, man, I'm watching everybody else set their goals and I'm just not, and it feels really weird. So I've decided that it's not weird and that I am gonna knock out all the goals that I already had set because they're still good and I still believe in them, and those are all still things that I want to do. So I share that to say, if you're carrying on a continuation of a goal from last year or 3 years ago or 5 years ago or whatever the case is, like, don't feel bad about it. Everything comes in seasons, and everything, I believe, happens in the time that it should. So if that's you, don't feel bad. Don't feel like you should be reinventing the wheel and coming up with something brand new that you've never thought of just because it's January. That's what I'm doing, at least. Oh, let's see. Oh, gamer chairs. Yeah. Steven has actually talked to me about that. And Yvonne, I really think that maybe he bought the same one that you're talking about on Amazon. And I will say, I go into his office and it's got like a footstool and it reclines and it's big and it's cushy, but it's like black leather and it doesn't match my office. And I don't like it. And he keeps telling me, why don't you just get something like this? And I just, I can't. I need the perfect mix of like pretty and functional and big enough and all the things, which is probably impossible to find. I probably just need to call some interior designers and be like, okay, what have I not thought of yet? Because obviously the Soul Sofa is too short. So one more little tidbit I wanted to share with you guys before I dive into my tips on social media engagement. Just in case a couple people are joining us a little bit late. Find a pretty white one. Maybe I just need to look harder. Maybe I need to think about like some of the colors. Just a different color maybe would do the trick for a nice chair for my office. If you're joining us late, we're talking about office chairs. Yeah, so one of the things that I want to share, I know we always do Win Wednesdays in the group, which those are actually some of my favorite posts to see you guys comment on, because not only is it that you're sharing something that is a win for you, but man, the comments that you give other people in this group about their wins is incredible. Like, it just lights my heart on fire to watch everyone comment to each other and say, that's amazing, or what a significant win, or that's fantastic for your week, your month, or your goals, or whatever the case is. So I wanted to share a big win with you guys today, since I know that's the kind of group that we have here, which lights my heart on fire. Stephen and I have always wanted to start an adoption fund. We would like to have our own kids at some point, but we would also like to adopt. That's always been something that has been on our hearts since we got together. And I am proud to say that today we actually went online to the bank and opened a brand new savings account, and it has almost $5,000 in it. So that is the win for today, is that we are taking steps in the right direction for that. And it felt really good. I've had like just such a great day all day. And I think it's because I started it out with knowing that I was working towards something that has always been such a big goal for us and our family. And obviously, if you know anyone who's adopted, is not cheap to do, very expensive. And even to have that $5,000 in a separate account, knowing that that's what it's earmarked for, I feel so good about. So that's my win that I wanted to share with you guys today. Oh, thank you guys for all your congratulations. Oh, okay. So let's dive into, social media. I'm trying to pull this up larger over here so that I can see all the comments, because Facebook is not my friend today. Some days, I don't know. It has a mind of its own sometimes. Let's pull this up. Oh, Terry, good information. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'll definitely look into that. I've always known people that have gone through agencies or brokers and know about the kind of initial cost that it takes to do that. So I kind of knew if that's ever going to be in our future, we need to have some money set aside for it. So thank you for sharing that. I'll look into that. Very cool. Okay, you guys, let's talk about social media. So I have, and I'm sure you have seen posts about this on my social media, but I have kind of changed my philosophy when it comes to social media this year. And I spent a very long time diving into kind of what this new philosophy is. And I won't get into all of that with you because that goes into the services that I offer. But I wanted to share with you kind of just the high level where I think social media is at for businesses right now. First of all, it's not going away, you guys, whether we're on Facebook or Twitter, or Instagram or Parler or whatever the new one is that you have to have invites, Clubhouse, which I'm not on yet and I probably should be. I kind of let those new ones phase themselves in for a while and see how it goes, and then I dive in because often for what I do, you also can't automate and you can't help a lot of people. You really have to be on the app doing things, which doesn't allow me to help clients in those platforms. So I've not done Clubhouse yet, but if you're on it, let me know. The thing that I've kind of figured out is this isn't going away, you guys. This is going to be a big part of your business all the time, right? This is going to be something that you're always doing. So some version of social media is always going to be a part of your life if you're a business owner. And I know that a lot of business owners really struggle because they either love social media for their personal lives, but they don't know how to translate that to business. And that has been a hardship for them. Or they just get really stuck, which actually it's so easy to get stuck doing anything in your business, right? Social media is often the first thing that people call me about because it feels stuck in a really big way. But if you were to write your own website content, if you were to do a training manual, if you were to do almost anything in your business, right? It's going to be difficult because you are so close to it and it is something that you do all day, every day. So trying to find the words and the graphics and the visual elements to really express what your business is and what you do in a clear, concise manner isn't easy, right? And we only have this much time to get somebody's attention on social media. And it's really important that we use that time wisely. So the other thing that I see a lot is businesses that just want to hand it off completely. They never want to touch it. They don't want to think about it. They don't. They know that their company has social media pages, but they actually don't want to do it. And I see this from solopreneurs to small teams to even large teams to big companies, right? I see all kinds of people just wanting to be completely hands off when it comes to their social. And I don't agree with that either. And here's my main reason and why this kind of leads into engagement. I don't agree with that because I believe that social media is also a huge part of your customer service. Right? As much as we want to complain like so-and-so messaged me instead of going to my website, or they didn't look up my actual information, they just tried to ask somebody for my phone number on social media or a recommendation or whatever the case is, or they just want to post all the questions about my products or my services. This isn't going away. Right? This is a part of everyone's lives. This is how they're doing things easier, right? And if you're thinking about that busy mom that's in the carpool lane that's trying to get something done on the go, that's usually the first step that comes to her mind. You know, that's just an example, but that's sometimes the first step that comes to somebody's mind, and they need to act on it because they have busy lives too, right? So I now am taking the stance that social media is something that you as a business owner should play an active role in. Whether you want to do all of it for your business, whether you want to do some of it for your business, but there are two main reasons for that. One is that idea of customer service, being able to really show up and talk to people about what you do, being able to answer their questions, being able to get back to them easily. It's really important to your customer base. Whether you get super annoyed with it or not, it's very important to them. So it needs to become part of what you do. Then the second thing is social listening. Now, I know social listening, I guess technically probably means like you're listening for bad mentions or like ways to like correct your reputation online or things like that. I think that's where that originally stemmed from. But I like to use it as listening to your customer base, right? So everyone in marketing ever talks about their ideal customers and wants you to know your ideal customers. And there is a reason for that. And if you think about it, they're at your fingertips right now. Right now, they're on Facebook, they're in the groups that you're in, they're on Instagram, they're posting pictures, they're complaining about things, they're venting about certain things, they're doing all this stuff on social media that you have right there at your fingertips to listen to. So if you aren't actively listening to your customer base on social media, you could be missing a huge aspect that could be a turning point in your business. Here's an example. If you are a brick and mortar store and you close every day at 4 p.m., but your target market is a lot of working professionals and they're commenting to you like, dang it, I pulled up in your parking lot again and I missed you because I don't get off till 5 and it takes me 30 minutes to drive there. And you have in your mind that you need to open at 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever, because that's when like the workday starts. If you're listening to your customer base, they might honestly prefer you to be open from 10 to 6. And your sales might go through the roof because of that change. It's because you're listening to them, because you're actively putting in solutions that are roadblocks in them doing business with you. So I wanted to share a little bit of that as my new kind of found philosophy on social media. I don't think you can walk away from it. I think it's something that's going to be here for the long haul. I think that it's something that you should actively be playing a role in for your business. Whether you're the one doing the posts, responding to the comments, or whatever the case is, you need to be active on your social media for your business because it matters. It matters to your customers, which means it should matter to you. So let me look here. I have a comment. Do you suggest that we look at these other outlets or what? I can't imagine trying to follow all these other social media groups. Terry, that's such a good question because I kind of feel the same way, right? It's like, oh my gosh, what else? Like TikTok and Parler and Clubhouse and Snapchat and all these different things. I think if you're a marketing professional, you should at least know what they are. And the fact that I'm not on Clubhouse, I'm like, okay, I need to correct that because I need to at least be checking it out and see what it's about. But if you are a business owner, it really comes down to what are your goals right now? Is your goal in this season to be in all the places, or is your goal in this season to maximize your time and to show up well in the outlets that you are in? If you're listening to your customer base too, then you'll know, are they super interested? This is another reason I haven't been on Clubhouse because I see a lot of photographers joining it, but I actually don't see a lot of my clients joining it. So I'm like, okay, that's probably not a top priority. I could show up here and give good advice. I could go live on my page. I could be posting more to Instagram. I could honestly book more calls with potential clients, right? That's probably actually a better use of my time. So I think it's good to be aware of what they are. But I don't think that just because someone's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, that it's something you should use for business. And the main reason is because there could be restrictions in place, right? A lot of these new platforms that come out, they have a lot of work to do in order to really appeal to business owners. Do they allow you to promote your industry? What are their rules in terms of slander, right? Or bad reviews, things like that. What does that look like in terms of how you actually work on their platform? Like I was saying, one reason I've never done Snapchat is because I have to like pick up my phone. I was looking for my phone, but I'm on my phone. I have to pick up my phone and I have to do the thing, right? But you think about it, I'm doing this for so many clients all day, every day. That's not something I can automate posts going out. That's not something I can maximize my time. That's not something I can pre-schedule. So it doesn't work for me and it doesn't work for my business. So Terry, I hope that answers your question, but I think it's relative. So it's good to know what they are, but I don't ever really recommend diving in and spending all your time just to chase the next big thing, because at this point in time, you don't actually know that it will be the next big thing. Okay. So I'm going to dive into, I wrote down seven different tips on engaging on social media. And I wanted to clarify, and I've said this in a couple of different posts, most videos that I've ever watched on social media engagement are actually trying to tell you how to post engaging content, right? How to post something that's going to get that other person to comment back to you or to take an action. But the problem with this is that when we don't have a lot of activity on our social media accounts anyways, then it comes down to, okay, so I posted all the things you told me to. I asked questions to people. I posted a poll. I had really engaging content. I made it really fun, and I still heard crickets, which is why I think that the idea of posting engaging content isn't the answer to engagement. That's a part of the picture, but I instead like to think about taking the reins on that, taking control, and really saying, no, this is what I'm gonna do in order to engage. I'm not gonna sit back and wait on everyone else to make comments or to like my pictures or whatever the case is. I'm gonna actually take an active role in making sure that I'm engaging with others, and I'm setting the precedent that I want other people to engage with me too. And I think that that's a really important distinction, because unless I've missed it, I've never seen anyone come into my inbox or my YouTube channels or whatever talking about it in this way. So I wanted to kind of open your mind up a little bit to that idea that engagement doesn't just have to mean on their part, but engagement can mean on your part too. So the first one I wanted to start with is, it is very important that you reply to every single message and every single comment. And yes, I do mean every single one. And it's important that you do this in a timely manner. And you guys, I get it. We're all busy, right? We have things going on. There's so many things to do. The thought of like answering the same question for the 15th time on social media is not something that appeals to any of us. But think about it. If you were, let's take it back to the days when people did in-person sales consultations, right? I don't know of many industries that do that now. But if you were doing that, if you were at a networking group with these people, you would for sure answer their question. Take this into real life. If you were in a room networking with a bunch of people and somebody looked at you and said, "How do you approach website design?" and I just got up and left, like, what? Okay. You have to engage with them, even if they made a comment that isn't a question. Even if you reply with a GIF, even if you're in a pinch and you need to reply with an emoji, I'll take it, right? But you need to be, it goes back to the idea of customer service. I know, Terry, it sounds like a lot of work, but if you get in a rhythm of it, it's not nearly as bad as you think, because this is what keeps the open lines of communication with people there. So I always like to say, if you can, now depending on the situation, that you should reply with a conversation opener, not a conversation ender. I have so many instances on social media where I'm actually really interested in somebody's product or service, and I'll ask them a question that usually I couldn't find on their website because I'm super type A, so I will go check out all the things first. But I'll ask them a question and they'll just reply with like the answer period. Or I'll make a comment and they're like, great, exclamation point. Like there's nothing else there. And I gotta say, I'm guilty of this too, right? Because we're in a hurry. But if you can, if you have the time, it's better to say, here's the answer to your question. Also, I would love to know more about what brought that question up, right? For you. Maybe it's that they are asking, what are your hours? And you answer them and then you say, are those hours that work for you? Is that something that you'd be able to do? Or maybe should we set up a special appointment? And then you get that feedback of that person saying like, I could never make it there by 5. Like that's not a possibility in my life, which there are one-off instances where some of those comments are just one person's perspective, but often those are the perspective that's reflective of a lot of people in your audience if that person kind of falls into your audience. So that's my first tip of advice. Reply to every single message, every single comment, and do it in as timely of a manner as you can. And I know it sounds like a lot of work, but it's not as bad as you think when you start doing it. Okay, number 2 is to get involved in Facebook groups. And I'm not saying this because I own a group. That would be great. But I'm saying this because when think about your audience, right? Like you're casting a wide net to people and you're saying, here's what I sell, here's the products that I offer, or the services that I offer. And now when you're finding like-minded people within your audience, you're niching that down. Right? It's the same idea as a sales funnel, to send out an email to your whole audience and say, hey, I'm going to be offering this new service. If you're interested, click yes. And then you send all those yes people something more specific. And then once they've booked a call with you, they get something more specific. It's that idea of niching down into your audience to find the people who actually fit the mold, right? Who have the money to buy from you, who have the time to do the service with you, who are really your ideal customer, who hit all the check marks, right? So in Facebook groups, you've kind of started level 1 of that niche down. And it's a way that you can say like, oh, hey, I like to sell business to business. This is a group full of business owners. Maybe I should engage with them because there's a big potential group of customers. Now, I understand a lot of groups have no-sell policies, but almost every group that has a no-sell policy also has a day of the week or multiple days throughout the week where they post something asking you for your website address or to explain what you do or whatever the case is, right? So pay attention to those. Like we even have a schedule internally for Oaks Creative House here that says every group that I'm in and what their days of the week that they allow promotion on. And one of my goals this year is to get better about actually diving in. A quick tip, if you're on an iPhone, now I don't know how this works on Android or Google, I'm sorry, I'm sure that there is an equivalent, but one thing that we set up recently is I can set up short codes, it's in the settings, to say like introduction 1, introduction 2, or whatever. And I have these things pre-written out, you guys. So I'm on my phone and somebody says, it's Share Saturday, tell me about your business and provide a link to your website. All I have to do is type share, share 1, share 2, or whatever the case is, and it pops up my whole message. It's right there for me, and then I just hit comment. There are ways that you can make this a lot easier on yourself so that you're not spending so much time typing the same thing over and over again, right? So get involved in Facebook groups, actively engage in them because your audience could be sitting right there in front of you, or someone who knows your audience, someone who could become a partner in your business. I mean, there are so many different ways that this could spin off into different things. Okay, number 3, set yourself a schedule to reach out to people, to comment on other people's posts. If you schedule a time to make this happen, it's going to become a lot easier for you, right? Which I'm a time management kind of junkie. Some might say I read books on time management 24/7 because I want to walk away from my desk at the end of the day, right? I don't want to be spending all evening doing these things. Or when I do jump on my phone to do something, I don't want it to take forever, right? So one thing that has really helped me is I do that first thing in the morning. I also answer all my emails first thing in the morning, rather than letting them trickle throughout the day, unless they're project specific. But it helps to say, no, from 8:30 to 9, I'm going to jump into social media and engage with people. Or maybe that looks like a midday break for you, right? Maybe you just need a brain break from your desk. Maybe this is dependent on when your kids are in school, or maybe for when your employees are there to relieve you when you're getting interrupted all the time, or whatever the case is. So I really like this idea of setting yourself time that you have permission to play on social media, right? It's like, it feels like this thing that because so many people use it for their personal life, it feels like for business, we should just squeeze it in, right? We should just force it between other projects, or we should just work on it when we have time, or like when we're in the car, or whatever the case is. But that doesn't have to be the case for you and your business. You can actually set aside time to work on just this. And it can make your life so much easier, trust me. Number 4 that I wrote down, and if you guys have any questions as I'm going, just go ahead and pop them in the comments, and I will get those answered for you. So number 4 is reply to stories. Stories are a really big thing. I love posting stories. I feel like I don't have to show everybody every meal that I make now because I get to post it to my stories and it's gone 24 hours later. Or every cute dog picture, right? Stories are fantastic. But instead of just cold calling people in the messengers, right, in the DMs, then you can instead reply to something that they posted. Let them be the opener of conversation, right? Instead of you going, oh, hey, I noticed that you own a business. I sell services to business owners. Do you want to chat? No, nobody's going to reply to that message. Like nobody wants to reply to that thing. It's going to be pretty rare. They would have probably heard of you before, and then it just kind of happened that you messaged them at a coincidental time. But most likely, that blanket messaging in people's DMs doesn't work. How many of them have you ignored? I ignore them all the time. But one thing that does work is when I post something to my stories, the way that you interact with stories is a reply in direct messages, right? So you can say something to that person that's relative for whatever they posted. I don't care if it's a book recommendation or if it's a cute picture of their kids or whatever the case is. You can say something, it will land in their inbox, and then there's your opener. Most of the time, nice people will reply to you, right? It could be a gift that they reply with or whatever. But if you come back and you say something else to them that leads them into, I mean, this is a pre-qualifying stage, right? You can ask them about themselves or ask them another question about their story. Or if you said, oh, I love that outfit you have on, and they're like, thanks, then you go, where'd you get it? Where do you love to shop online? And they tell you, hello, are they in your ideal audience or not? That's one of the things that I love to pay attention to, is where do people shop? It says their aesthetic, it says their price point. A lot of different things are said in that one statement. So go ahead and reply to their stories and keep a conversation going with them, especially if it's someone that you would really love to do business with. Stacy said, I have an open notepad with every Q&A answer I've ever typed, so it's easy to copy and paste via my cell to Facebook groups for like, what are you passionate about in your career, favorite book recommendation, and why. So good. That's so good. I bet that saves you so much time so that you don't have to go back and retype the same stuff over and over again. That's one of the things that I feel like as entrepreneurs really gets us into like a brain fog, is repeating ourselves over and over again, right? Because we don't necessarily have the teams and the systems in place and like all of the ducks in a row yet in order to never repeat ourselves again. That's so good, Stacy. I'm going to start doing that when I reply to, a lot of times I'm answering people's questions too. So that's great. I'm going to start doing them. Okay. Number 5 that I wrote down is a little bit about engaging content, but I think it's a good one. Don't be afraid to tag people in posts. I know so many people that will recommend an author or say that they volunteered for a nonprofit or say that they had their website designed by somebody or whatever the case is. And they will talk about this person, or they'll talk about this business, or talk about this product that they love and never tag them. And this is such a way to kind of start the conversation of engagement and get exposure to a bigger audience, right? The algorithms are not on our side, but this is a way that you can kind of trick the system a little bit and have more people seeing what you post by tagging people. So it could be big people and brands that you talk about, whether you're recommending something, even when you're recommending on other people's posts. It just helps you to be able to be seen a lot more, which then in turn all makes everybody happy, right? So in your business pages, if you will tag these people that you're talking about, businesses, organizations, nonprofits, for shout outs, have guest authors on your page, ask somebody to guest author a blog post for you and tag them. I like to find people that are in alignment with what I do, but aren't necessarily direct competition, so that it's we're speaking to the same audience, we're in the same mindset, we like to do things very similar, but at the same time we can actively support each other without stepping on each other's toes. So go ahead, tag people in posts. That's why they have a public page, to be tagged. That's why that exists. Fantastic. Okay, number 6, write someone else a review. And this is something that I want to start doing a lot more of. I order products all the time. I go to people for services all the time. And it usually never crosses my mind to write them a review. I don't know why, because I tell other people to do this, but this is on my goals list right now, is to do this better. And it takes a few minutes, especially if you've done business with them. Even your customers, if you have even had a great interaction with them, but they've hired you and you've not hired them yet, you can still write them a fantastic review to say that they are great to talk with, that they really listen well, that they have a lot of happy clients, that whatever the case is, without necessarily saying, I've done business with this person and they're good. You can give a general review, and that's still going to help them out a ton. They will appreciate it. And I know when someone leaves me a review, I think, oh, I should go do that for them. And I actually do kind of have a list of people that I want to do that for, but you're way more likely to also receive one when you give one. So it's very important for you to put that on your list too. And a great way to start the engagement train rolling, right? It's great to post about somebody, but it's really great to give them a review, because that kind of stuff lasts forever on their social media pages, on their Google business listing, or whatever the case is. You can actually just take the same review and post it multiple places if you want to, and that's still going to help them out for the people that are searching for them in different places. So write somebody a review. Okay, the last one that I have for you, and then I will hang out for a while and do some Q&A for any questions that you guys have about anything. Could be about this, could be about whatever, I don't care. Is to go to the profiles and pages of the people who have liked or commented on your stuff and engage with them. So one of the ways that I like to do this is to pull up the Instagram app. I go to one of my recent posts that I posted, and I'll look and see who liked it, right? Because a lot of people have like blank page syndrome. That's what I like to call it, where they want to say something, or they are really in alignment with what you've done or what you've said or what picture you put up or whatever the case is, but they don't know what to say. So when your comments are low, it's usually not necessarily a problem directly with your content. It's a problem with maybe you're posting content that takes some thought, or that isn't quite easy to reply to, right? So one of the examples I love of this is a couple years ago, I was in Target, and I had met this lady one time ever at a networking event, and she comes running up to me in Target, and she's like, oh my gosh, your talk on time management that you posted on blah, blah, blah group or whatever, seriously changed my life. Like, it was incredible. It was just amazing. Like, it was so good. I loved it. Or I've had people come up to me in the most random situations and been like, I've been following you online for years. I know all your freebie worksheets. I know all your trainings. I've listened to your sales funnel training, like backwards and forwards multiple times. I've had people say these things to me, and the first thought that comes in my mind is like, okay, well, you didn't ever comment anything. Like, I didn't even know you were interested, or that you looked at it, or you listened to the video, or whatever the case was, because you didn't say anything, right? So if you think about it, if you've ever been that person, why don't you say anything? It's usually because you don't know what to say, because you're not in the headspace right then to start a conversation, right? Because a lot of people will reply back to you. Or it could even be because you don't want to get all the notifications right then, right? I've seen several things that people have posted that I'm in love with, but like I'm on vacation, or I'm with my niece and nephew, or something's happening and I'm not really able to wrap my head around like a great response at that time. And so I'll just hit like. And this means I really do like you. I really do like the content that you put out, because I took the time to, usually I'll make it a little love emoji, because I think it's great. So I would love for you to engage with me. That would never hurt, ever, right? It would never hurt you to message me and say, hey, I saw a recent post you put up and I really loved it, or whatever the case is, right? You can get more specific depending on what they're talking about, what your industry is, all those things. But I like to just go to a post that I've made, see who liked it, and then go to their profiles, their business pages, right? It's a little bit easier to do on Instagram because there's not personal and business. Like, you can engage with a business page a little bit easier on Instagram. So I like to go there, and then I'll go to something that they posted recently and make a great comment for them. And this helps their algorithm. This helps them to know that their content's being seen. This helps them, you know, especially if they've asked a question, to have actual answers to that question. It helps a lot of things, and it shows them that you're there, right? And I do this for people that I feel are in my ideal audience. And not to say that I like skip over everybody who isn't, but I do pay a lot more attention to spending my time on people that I feel are in my audience. And this is something that you could easily do, right? You can go to your Instagram tonight and you can see what you posted, see who liked it, and go to their profile and comment something to them. So this idea of like, don't just wait for them to comment to you, go to them. It's okay. It's okay to like put yourself out there and and comment something to them and say, I really loved that book too, or whatever the case is. Because what you're actually doing at the end of the day, whether these were tangible topics, right? These were tangible tips. But what you're actually doing at the end of the day is making a deeper connection with the people who could be your people, right? You don't know yet because maybe they haven't done business with you yet. But man, these people are ready to have a great connection with you. And the saying is so true that people buy from companies that they feel know, like, and trust them, right? It's a know, like, and trust conversation. I'm like tangling my words over here because I got excited. But people buy from other people who they feel understand them. That's what I'm getting at. And it's really important that you take the extra effort to make them feel that way. That's not something that they just automatically wake up one day and they're like, you know who I think gets me? Crystal. I think Crystal understands me. Like, people don't think that. I have to go out and really show them, I do understand you. I do want to work with you. This is something that would be a great relationship for us, right? Or I always tell people, if I'm not the person for you, I still want to learn about your business. I still want to know about you because I may know the person for you because I network a lot. So, okay, Stacy says, I have pop-ups everywhere. At a large conference, I had no less than a dozen people say, wow, Stacy, you're everywhere as a coach. I see you checking into every event online as a speaker, but not one of them even follow me. None of them were my Facebook friends at all. Always remember, even with no likes, hearts, or thumbs up, people are still watching. They still see you. That is so good. It's so important to remember that people are still watching you all the time. I've had people call me and already know my prices for a lot of things, which aren't public on my website, right? Sometimes I'll mention them on social media. I've had people, contact me and they know, they could tell you which post I posted 2 Tuesdays ago or a year ago. Like, it's crazy. I'm like, so I've had a lot of people, especially if you're a service that people don't need readily, or maybe you're a product that somebody's saving up for, it's likely that they're going to follow you for a while, right? That they're going to watch you for a while before they decide to make that decision. And I always like to equate this to those are their hard-earned dollars coming out of their pocket to go into my bank account. And I do not take that lightly. I think that that's very important. And if I need to put out good content on social media all day long in order for a year from then somebody to be ready for a website, I'm here for it, right? If I need to reach out to them and say, I get you, I loved those pictures of your kids, I can't wait for your new business to launch, if there's any way that I could point you in the right direction, if you're looking for promo or vendors or shipping advice or whatever the case is, like, let me be a person for you, because I really love what you're doing. And I mean it at the end of the day. Like, I don't just pull up random people's accounts and say, I think you're awesome. Like, I read about them first. I make sure I really do think that they're awesome before I comment. So, Stacey, that's incredible. That's awesome advice. They are always, always, always watching. So it's important that we show up well for them, right? Because at the end of the day, we're in business to be in business. I think we forget that sometimes. We get distracted by all the shiny objects. It's like, hey, this new thing over here that we could go do, or this new thing that we could figure out over here. But at the end of the day, like, the thing that I learned from my family of entrepreneurs is treat your customers well. Right? Show up well for people and be the person that these new people know that you're going to show up well for them. And I think that that's what getting out there and engaging on social media will do. It's going to show them, hey, I'm actually really here for you. I actually really do care about you. I know you. I understand you. My business knows you. We understand you. Whether this is a we, whether this is a I, it doesn't matter. It means that they feel understood enough to do business with you, which is the whole point that we exist, right? Sometimes I feel like we forget that. But I hope that these tips were super helpful for some of you. I think some of them are like the thing that you don't want to hear. Like, especially the reply to every single message. Terry, your comment was cracking me up. Sometimes it's just the thing that you're not quite ready to hear, but probably somebody needs to tell you. So I hope that I could be that person in a couple of different ways today. This social media at the end of the day is customer service and customer acquisition. And if you're not showing up well for them, they're not going to show up well for you. So it's time to take the reins and get out there and actually engage with them and say something and do the work that it takes to build relationships online. Because, I mean, think about it. That's what social media was originally around for, right? Zuckerberg created Facebook so that people on college campuses could connect with each other without having the awkward in the student union, like, hey, do we have the same class? I'm not sure. It's a way that people can connect with each other. So sometimes I feel like we forget that. But we really do need to be actually connecting with them. So, I hope this advice was helpful. I can hang out for a little bit if anybody has questions, but I think our numbers are kind of dying off. So if you have a question, I am so happy to answer it for you. But, if not, totally fine. I wanted to also, let's see, Terry. Well, today I had a spellcaster for solving health issues. Trying to keep up with all the comments we get. Oh, yes. It is important, or it is, distractions. It is very hard to keep up with a lot of comments coming in at the same time. That's why I typically like to have someone else in my organization who has my voice. And that took me a while to get to. That's not something that obviously happened overnight. But Yvonne, who's always in this group commenting, she knows my voice. She can comment for me. Steven knows my voice. He could comment for me. So if there is a chance that you could pull in some extra help, that would be great. But otherwise, I feel your pain. Lots of comments coming in at the same time. It's not good. I used to work for a larger corporation, and we at one time ran out of product in one of our countries, and all of our social media started blowing up like crazy. Nobody wanted to talk to customer service because it cost long distance international calling to call us, right? And they had some local people there, but it was overwhelming to answer a question that they didn't know the answer to, because the product was held up in customs, and there was no solution at the time. So some of those issues that come up can be really hard to tackle. So, I am very excited for this year. Just me, 12,000 followers. Yes, that would keep you on your toes. I feel for you. One of the things that I wanted to mention just before I log off is 2021 is going to be a fun year for this group because we have some fun things planned. I am really wanting to see some more connections made, and I'm trying to think outside of the box on how to make that happen for everyone. Yes, this is a great place to come and learn information, but I also would love for you to walk away with like business partners and relationships and somebody that you could get virtual coffee with or whatever the case is. So, at the end of this month, we're going to announce it shortly, or we just did, I don't know. We are going to kick off an interview series where I'm just going to interview a business owner, because I think it's really important to really see the journey of other people who maybe are at a stage a little bit different than you are, but are in the same space as you. And this kind of stemmed from the podcast, How I Built This. I love that podcast. I like binge listen to it because I just love that so many people have a successful business and they didn't necessarily have all their shit together, right? Can I say that? They didn't necessarily have all their ducks in a row, but they still were able to pivot and figure it out. And I think that that's what a lot of entrepreneurship is about. It's about the tenacity, right? It's about the ability to stand back up and be like, well, that didn't work. Like, let's go in this direction now, or figure out what this works. And I think that as entrepreneurs, we're the ones making the waves. And sometimes that's easy to forget. We like to look at everyone else and be like, well, what are they doing right now at this instance? So instead, I like to explore other people's journeys for the inspiration to keep treading forward in mine. So I hope that this interview series is going to be as fun for you guys as it is for me. I'm very excited about it. We're also going to be doing some more virtual cocktail hours in the group, because I think that that's a great way to make connections with people. And yeah, I would love to see you guys there. So if you are watching the replay, go ahead and send me a comment, because I do like to reply to all those comments, and I will get back with you if you have a question. And other than that, happy Tuesday, you guys, and happy January. Like, this is going to be, despite all the things, this is going to be the year that you make it, right? And I'm excited for where my year's headed. And if you need some inspiration, let's get on the phone, because it doesn't stop over here. But I am ready to give you guys great advice and help out, point everybody in the right direction if I can, from any of the knowledge that I have. So talk to me about it. Share in the group with what you're looking for or where you're struggling, because I would love to either bring a solution to you, bring a guest speaker to you, or whatever the case is that you need. So thanks, Terry. Thank you guys so much, and we will talk soon.